Following our tradition, it is now my pleasure to introduce our dedicated third-year class president, Chentan Desai, who will speak on behalf of the class.
Sorry, just had to lower that a little bit. All right. Wow, all right. So, I was gonna start with a graduation selfie, but I think that's been overdone, so we're gonna pass on that. Welcome to the fellow graduates, parents, family members, friends, deans, esteemed faculty, significant others, Teletubbies, less successful siblings, and future clients. I want to thank every one of you for attending this event and supporting us during these years in law school. Behind every law student stood a supportive parent, sibling, significant other, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, ex-wife, and former friend. All of you, in some form or fashion, have helped us become who we are today, and you've played an integral role in allowing us to pursue this law degree. Well, fellow 2014 class members, we finally did it. Juris Doctorates. Juris Doctorates. What a transformation we've undergone. 3 years ago, we came to Rutgers Camden, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to take on the world. Those were the days. Those were the days. We were still able to interact with humans then. Remember that? When I first wrote this speech, I struggled to find exactly one word or phrase that could accurately describe this class. Close-knit, ruthless, loyal, large, girthy, humble, defiant. All of those words readily apply. However, I'm reminded of an age-old legal principle we were taught 1L year, the doctrine of res ipsa loquitur. Commonly translated, it is the thing which speaks for itself. This class literally does speak for itself. There is no one singular aspect that accurately represents and describes the special bond we share. To understand why our class was special, you have to understand the unique law school moments we've experienced together. I remember our first torts class 1L year when Professor Friedel told us that our humor and ability to interact with others would never be the same. Although he told us to hold on to our core values because that was important, he said we would never be funny again. You see, as law students, we were predisposed to being unusual and incapable of participating in conventional human interaction. He told us that our friends and family would struggle to understand us and relate to us. Oh, how right Professor Friedel was. When we heard the word car accident, we would think lawsuit. Every legal doctrine became worthy of an internet meme or a Facebook post. Facebook became a therapeutic outlet for frustrations about the voluminous reading assignments and the convoluted hypothetical questions. That is, when the wireless internet actually worked. Law school had quickly taken over our once normal way of life. Worlds were colliding. Our friends would ask, "Why don't you hang out with us anymore? Where have you been?" We would just shrug. I don't know. Whenever we would get into debates or arguments with our siblings, we would begin our answers with, "It depends." They hated that. What had law school done to us? It changed the way we talked, the way we thought, and the way we interacted with each other. And then there was the Socratic method, the tradition of cold calling on students in the classroom. In the beginning, we attempted to predict the patterns professors would use. That never worked. We would also preemptively raise our hand. "Oh, I'll answer this question, so they won't ask me another one." No, then the professor would go rogue and call on us twice. In our attempt to embrace the Socratic method, we emulated a game called Word of the Day. Now, comedian Demetri Martin refers to this in a stand-up act, and I'm sure that actually the professors had their own word of the day, although we don't know, and I guess they've been outed now, like all of us. So in this game, the object was to vote on the word the day before, mention that word in an answer in class, and you'd be awarded points. Sounds simple, right? Nope, we were law students. We did not believe in simple. Much like the US government, we had a system of checks and balances. However, I'd like to think that our system was much more efficient. We laid out rules, regulations, and a set of bylaws to govern this game. For example, the word could only be mentioned once per class, and it had to be in a meaningful way. You see, you couldn't simply just rattle off the word. Our colleagues would have to also verify the usage. Yes, that's right, we're a really weird bunch. So, we told ourselves this will encourage us to participate more in class. Similar to the original game, our first word of the day was sassy. Yes, that's right, sassy. The next day in class we hear, Professor Friedel, are juries allowed to award sassy amounts of damages? Thus began our version of word of the day. Early on we had concerns. Unrelated to the word of the day, a student said the phrase, throes of passion. The professor said, you know what's funny? That's a funny way to phrase it. We know about this game. Never mind. And then that was it. Keys started typing on everyone's computer. Everyone panicked. IMs, Facebook messages. Abort, abort. We're done. They're going to kick us out of law school. End the game now. At one point, we thought the professors had their own game, for we heard the words splitting the baby and mashy several times in one day. Classmates would say, I have to finish tomorrow's reading so I can use tomorrow's word in class. Who would have thought word of the day actually made us do assigned readings? Other words included fishing expedition, naked assertions, and yes, wet blanket. Although it was our way of coping with the Socratic method, it exemplified the closeness of this class. Coincidentally, all of our grades quickly began to improve thereafter. Oh, how far we've come since that day. I wasn't kidding when I said the class of 2014 was one of the greatest classes ever assembled. Although we were the largest class, we were one of the closest classes. We would go on camping trips together, skiing trips together. We would do the Harlem Shake together. And we would play softball together. Law school softball was a special time. We would also celebrate and commiserate finals, mock trials, and moot court competitions with each other, whether it was at Barrister's Ball. Yes, Barrister's Ball did happen on time. The Victor Pub, or maybe it was our semi-annual end-of-exams pilgrimage to Drinkers. By and large, we ruled that law school bridge. Although we were a unique group of individuals, some may call it a special group, we all came together at Rutgers Camden Law for a special, more meaningful purpose. Members of our class have come from as close as Camden, and as far away as California, Texas, and yes, Nick, even Canada. Each one of us came here with a different background, a unique perspective, and an inspiring story. Although our viewpoints occasionally differed, we shared a mutual appreciation and respect for each other. When I look back to all the accolades and achievements of this class, there is no one achievement that solely defines our success. Rather, it is that often used phrase in the law, the totality of the circumstances. The totality of the achievements of this class are truly worthy of celebration. Maybe it was this class's outstanding public interest work in the community through the various pro bono projects and clinical programs. Maybe it was the participation of this class in moot court competitions as close as Camden and as far away as Germany and Vienna. Maybe it was this class's strong-willed support of each other as we went through each of our personal endeavors. When I think of our class, I think of the loyalty we've shown to each other and the collective achievements we've overcome. As we prepare to enter the real world and attempt to interact in social settings with other human beings, I will be honest with you when I say it will be a struggle. Some of us already have employment, some of us don't, and we're still seeking employment. Although the future is uncertainty, there's one certainty that can provide us some comfort. The connection the class of 2014 shares will help us navigate the obstacles we will face, the uncertain times we will have, and guide us towards achieving the next step in our lives. Even though our ability to interact with other human beings will never be the same, and probably will never recover, at least we'll have each other. I know some of you are thinking, what just happened to the last 3 years? Although we tell ourselves how much we've disliked law school and all of its endless hypothetical questions, unrealistic exam questions, and stress, there was something deep-rooted in each of us that made us appreciate the law. We learned to critically analyze cases, we improved our public speaking abilities, and most importantly, we learned how a bill becomes a law. If you feel you haven't learned anything yet, don't worry, bar review courses start on the bridge on Tuesday. Too soon? Yeah, way too soon. To the class of 2014, I ask you to continue this journey together. Take forth the skills you've developed and discovered in law school and apply them to your future endeavors. As you celebrate this weekend, take this moment to savor the experience that we've all shared. Embrace the new relationships and the lifelong friendships we've developed. Although we will go our separate ways, our paths will occasionally cross, and deep down inside, we will always be grateful for the story we share. I truly can say the accomplishments and achievements of this class speak for themselves. So hereby, it is certified that upon recommendation of the 3L class president and the law school bridge with the powers conferred upon me by nobody at all, I now pronounce you the greatest class ever, with all the rights, privileges, and duties thereto pertaining here and elsewhere. Stand tall and proudly represent one of the greatest classes ever assembled, the Rutgers Camden class of 2014, Res Ipsa.
Thank you, Chintan. My only advice would be when you criticize the IT department, you should make sure they're not back there controlling the mic.